So this is on trail day 133. It is Monday, November 15th of 2020. I stayed the night last night here at the Thunderhill shelter. Has a nice picnic table out there and a fire ring. There was no one here but me, so I just put my hammock up right here in the shelter. It's 30 something degrees and breezy, and of all things, I found a tick on my leg. Look at this guy. Here it is. I thought tick season was over, but I gotta get rid of him and then get the day started. So typically to remove ticks I use tweezers on my Swiss Army knife, but I found one of these tick keys in a hiker box back in Waynesboro, so I'm going to give it a try, see how well it works. I think I'll stick with the tweezers. It might work for a big tick, but not a little one. So I'm not sure. I haven't read in the book. I don't know if this is the guillotine or not. It kind of looks like it, but I have to check the book and see. Oh, one day the rock will fall. It just won't be today and right now. So I ran into some hikers going north. The first one was a female hiker that was singing along with her earbuds. And I didn't really talk to her, but I was thinking after she passed, I think I've seen her before. And then I was going up the hill, trying to put a place to a face, and it was a notch hostel in New Hampshire. And then a few minutes later, I passed a couple, and the guy was like, "I've seen you before." And I was like, "Yeah, the notch hostel in New Hampshire." And then I asked if the other girl was with him. He said that she was, so they're headed to Georgia as well. I guess they're flip-floppers. But that's kind of cool. I don't know how far ahead of me they are. They're hiking north, but they got dropped off somewhere south of here. So I may run into them again, I may not. The worst part about today is this wind. Yesterday we had warm wind, today we have cold wind. Another one of those mountaintop observatories. I don't know what all this observing or whatever. Various antennas and weather. The sun feels nice though. Even if the wind's still blowing, the sun feels nice. I'm just a little bit past that observation. It's right there. The sign says this is Apple Valley Orchard. 4,200 foot. Got an alright view. Check the weather for tonight. The shelter I'm going to. It's at 1900 feet, which should make it a little warmer. But it said something on the, use the AT weather app about snow flurries in the morning. I actually surprisingly woke up this morning at daylight. I mean, woke up feeling like I could have gotten up. I stuck my head out of my sleeping bag, and it was like sticking my head into a freezer, and the wind was blowing. So I just put my head back under the sleeping bag, and then didn't get up for a couple more hours. But that's alright. We still got left camp at a decent time. Just now only 11:30, and we've been on the trail for a little bit, for a couple of miles anyway. But I still suspect it'll be dark before I get to the destination shelter for the day. At least here's a friendly doggy. Cornelius Creek Shelter. I'm back on the trail from the Cornelius Creek Shelter. There's a group with their kids out having just a day at the shelter. But the lady was super into through hiking, so I had all kind of questions. It's kind of cool. And I got 11 more miles to do, and it's almost 2 o'clock. There is a shelter between here and the one I was going to. So, just depends on how cold it ends up getting. It's kind of cold right now, but I was up there sitting in the sunshine. Now I'm in the shade. But the terrain's not bad. Well, as far as the ups and downs to do the 11 miles. So. Still the plan to make it to the Cove Mountain Shelter. So we'll run into a deer hunter who's sitting there right on the side of the trail. It's officially gun season, so I'm glad I'm wearing my fluorescent orange buff. He had seen a small deer earlier this morning, but I was waiting for the big buck. But I got shelter in 3.7 miles. There's 10 more miles to the Cove Mountain. But after chit-chatting with the lady at the shelter and then the deer hunter. It's 3 o'clock, almost 3:15, and my feet are giving me problems again. My ankles are on my heel where the callus is at. If I step on a rock or something just right, it feels almost like it's a sharp pain, almost like a little rock in your shoe. So I think when I get to the Daleville, there's an outfitter there. I think I'm going to finally just trade the old Chacos in, so to speak, send them home, and get a pair of hiking shoes. Something like a Solomon or ones like I used to use. I can't think of the name of them right off. They're pretty popular. I won't get any ultra trail runners because I'm not an ultralight, and I haven't been impressed with other hikers that's using ultras. I'd probably have to buy 2 pair of them to get to Georgia. So, with 700 and something miles left, a pair of Solomons should hold up. A pair like I used to wear. They're pretty popular, but I can't think of them right off. They should last till I get to Georgia. So. But I'm thinking of the colder weather, and depending on how cold it gets, I may have to get spikes for ice in the Smokies. So I obviously can't use those with Chacos. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with I've had the heel callus problem before on this trip, but only for short duration. But pretty much the last few days in Maine, and then now since I've started in Harper's Ferry, they've really been giving me problems. If I take a couple days off, I start feeling a lot better. But then when I get back on the trail, it starts bothering me again. So I think I'm going to change my choice of footwear. I really like hiking in Chacos, so on one hand it pains me to change it, but on the other foot it's paining me not to change it. When every 3rd or 4th step is painful, that's not a fun hike. So I hadn't really looked ahead far enough. If I did go to Cove Mountain today, then that leaves me with like a 24 miles to Daleville. If I don't go to Cove Mountain, it leaves me 30 something, which is 2 15-mile days, roughly. And I got enough food for 2 days, so this shelter that I'm getting close to is a double-decker, has an upstairs, so if it's empty, it might be a nice one to put my hammock up in, especially since it's supposed to be cold again, in the 20s tonight. And it's also at a lower elevation, which means it'll be a few degrees warmer at this shelter than it will be at the Cove Mountain shelter. So other than just making miles, I have no specific reason to go to Cove Shelter tonight. And it's not really necessary to make the miles, because I would still basically be hiking into Daleville the same day, or maybe instead of the afternoon before, I'll hike in the morning, the next morning, so, which would probably work better since I need to go to the outfitter. I hadn't intended on staying in Daleville. There's a pilot truck stop with a shower. My intention was to go in Daleville, resupply, get a shower, maybe hit the laundromat, and then hike out. So it would be better to do a couple of miles into there in the morning and then have all day to do the chores I need to do. At least that's my thought process on it anyway. And I tell you, going downhill in calf-deep leaves with acorns and little rocks under them is quite the challenge. One thing about it, you're not going to sneak up on any wildlife hiking out here in the late fall. 0.8 miles from the Bryant Ridge shelter. It's supposed to be one of the nicest on the AT. So it's a big double-decker. Sleeps 20 people. And it's usually a popular shelter. But this is a Monday night in November, so it may not be that popular tonight. But since I will get there before the sun goes down, if it is empty, I'll be sure to check it out. I have a feeling there will be lots of empty shelters between here and Springer Mountain. That's that little group of flip-floppers I ran into today. Well, I don't know, they may be southbounders, because I know the one girl in New Hampshire, Lincoln, New Hampshire, so that was before Franconia Ridge. And she's talking about she went over Mount Washington when it was clouded out. So they may be southbounders. But I've heard there's like 2 tramilies, as they call them, trail families, right behind me, so it may be nice for there's somebody there, depending on how fast they're going. If they're going faster, then you might see them once and never see them again. Well, who knows? But we're almost there, so this is either the end of the day or it'll be the end of the day if I can video the shelter. So I'm almost to the Bryant Ridge shelter. And a little creek flowing by here has a little waterfall. That was probably flowing pretty good a couple days ago. But the sign said 200 yards, and that was about 100 yards ago, so it should be up right around the corner. So it appears no one's here. This is one of the nicest shelters I have seen on the AT. There's a nice upstairs loft. All these grappling hook looking things to hang stuff from. But it's getting kind of dark inside, so I'll check it out real good in the morning, but this is home for the night. Kind of on a side note, this tree here is a recent uproot, probably from the other day, and it fell with enough force to snap that tree off. It does not look like the shelter is damaged any. But man, just think if that sucker had fell just 10, 20 foot more to the left, it would have took shelter with it. But either way, you'd be safer in a shelter with a tree like that than you would in a tent.